move into the second part here, which is about the trend that we're seeing in the industry of moving from a more solid phase peptide synthesis to liquid phase synthesis. And all my panelists, when I spoke with you guys beforehand, you all feel about, I know you have your opinions about LPPS as far as being potentially greener and more cost effective. So I'd love for either of you to start there with, first of all, would you say there is a concerted effort in the industry to shift away from solid phase into liquid phase? Why, and do you think there should be?
Yeah, I'll take that to start, Tyler. And I guess it's difficult to say across the industry. We're seeing more and more examples in the literature. I know in our specific company, there is certainly a concerted effort to move towards the liquid phase. There's a terminology question, I think, that needs to maybe be cleared up, what we mean by liquid phase, because I think that it's used interchangeably to describe synthesis of peptides using a chemical linker, which stays in solution, versus a solid phase bead. And so in these tag-assisted syntheses is often called liquid phase. But we also use the term liquid phase when we're talking about just more traditional amide bond formation in the solution. And that's what I was alluding to earlier, where you can use solid phase to generate fragments, and then in the liquid phase assemble those fragments sequentially to form the peptide. So to answer your question, yeah, I do think there's a concerted effort. It's certainly because of the yield improvements when the sequence or the asset itself dictates that a linear build is really ineffective. It's when, and we certainly see much higher purities, much higher yields for shorter length peptides. And so assembling, 3 or 4 high purity short lengths of a peptide to give us a single long length makes sense, at least mathematically, that it should pan out. And we have seen that exemplified in a number of assets. And in the literature, there's quite a few examples there. So from my opinion, again, it's my opinion, not necessarily that of my company, but I think there is a concerted effort and an opportunity to much more efficiently utilize the amino acids themselves and drive down costs associated with peptide synthesis by moving to the liquid phase approaches.
Great, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Chuck,
So
Matteo,
on my point of view, there is also another aspect that is interesting, is the hybrid approach that Kevin is described still require solid phase reactor, and solid phase reactor are for large scale manufacturing are not something that are available in every company in the world. The CDMO that have access to large scale reactor you can count them in one hand. And so some of the big pharma, when they think about launching a very, very large volume, would like to have more redundancy in their capacity to produce this peptide. And so the liquid phase approach can be more or less, not the liquid phase approach that Kevin is describing, but the pure liquid phase peptide synthesis, which is really making the product an amino acid at the time and building it in dipeptide, tetrapeptide, and then join together, as one advantage. You can use any CDMO more or less in the world who has reactor capacity. And the reactor capacity for this type of chemistry can be very, very large. So in thinking about large volume of peptide, he helps you to think about a process that doesn't depend on LPPS. Now, for very long peptide, this is not feasible because it will take too long to put together a 37 amino acid peptide, doing it by pure solution, what is called a liquid phase peptide synthesis. On the other hand, and Kevin was talking about this, there is a new way of doing peptide synthesis that is this hybrid approach using linkers, where you can do peptide synthesis very similarly conceptually to SPPS, using a liquid system where you have a tag that keep the product in the organic phase and you can wash away the other. This type of linker-driven peptide synthesis can be executed in a company that have liquid reactor for a small molecule. So this opened the opportunity now to have a full liquid phase process, maybe making 2 fragments or 3 fragments of 10 residue each in liquid phase using this auxiliary, and then put this fragment together similarly to what Kevin was referring to for the process for the tripartite that they develop for large-scale manufacturing. So I think this is an effort where people would like to see more of this full liquid phase approach to be able to produce their peptide in CDMOs with the normal liquid phase reactor for small molecule. So I think this is another reason why this effort is ongoing.
Yeah, I might add to that, Matteo, that I think it's been demonstrated for a number of assets where peptide fragments up to 8 and 10 amino acids can be made in exquisite high purity, just purely chemically, either going through sub-fragments that are actually crystalline. So you can use crystallization as a means of purifying and then assembling those sub-fragments to a larger fragment that then can be carried into a hybrid route. And so I do think the soluble linker approach is an approach, and I think that should be married to potentially purely chemical synthesis, whether it's N to C builds or through sub-fragment crystalline species. That you can get away from solid phase. But I think the key piece is, as you alluded to, that the limited solid phase peptide synthesis infrastructure that exists and the fact that much of it's being capped out through many of the large volume incretins, it does lend itself to seeking out alternatives that can be executed in traditional small molecule synthetic infrastructure.